Hello, Soul Tribe. Hello, Soul Tribe. Thank you for joining me once again. Let's turn this music down. Start again. Hello, Soul Tribe. Thank you for joining me once again. My name is David Berry, as you all well know. Continuing on today with the book, The Seventh Rider of the Year of the New Age. I do apologise for the delay. In about 2 weeks. Been doing a lot of soul searching lately. Going within, knowing thyself. Very revealing. So yeah, like I said, do apologise for the delay in getting on with this. A lot going on in my personal life lately, which is doing a very good job of distracting me. Here I am. And you find that the things that are trying to distract you from are the things that you should be doing the most. So I've made a big effort today to come on and read some more of this book. We don't have a huge amount of the book left, if you remember from where I left off. Let's turn this music off. Hey, sorry, it's probably very distracting. Right, so yeah, I don't have a huge amount left from where we left off. Very big chapter, this last one. So I'll just give it a minute or two, see if anybody does turn up. I was going to go live about an hour ago, but got distracted. Phone calls and what have you. So just give it a minute or two, see if anybody turns up other than myself. Do have plans for at least one more book after this reading. I say book reading. Thinking of doing the Gospel of Thomas. If anybody would be interested in that, I know one or two people definitely will be, because it's their favourite book, Gospel, if you will, Gospel of Thomas, and my son's name as well. There's some esoteric meanings behind the name Thomas also, and David, and quite a few other meanings, so a few other names from the Bible. I don't know if I should go into those now while we're waiting. Just before I start getting into the book, I'll have a little waffle, because I like to do. The esoteric teachings that I was reading, basically, to put in an exoteric term, was explaining the names of disciples and other characters from the Bible, explaining that the names themselves actually represent your level of consciousness as you go through the internal alchemy. Obviously, alchemy is true meaning being the transmutation of your consciousness of different levels, from your base consciousness, taking it all the way up to highest consciousness. And the only two names I can remember are mine and my son's, David and Thomas. Thomas being the step before the highest enlightenment, and this isn't my ego speaking, because I have very little ego, if any. The final step is David, believe it or not. Obviously just pure coincidence that my name is also David. Yeah, so Thomas and David. Hi Carolyn, very good to see you. Thank you for joining me on such short notice. Can't remember all the other names that were in there, but the other disciples' names were in there as well. There's different levels of consciousness, and I'm certainly doing everything I can within my power of learning and understanding to achieve these things. Right. Well, we have 4, 3. We had 4 for a second. Somebody decided to change their mind. For anybody rewatching, and for Karen and the other 2 people in there, just to remind you, I have opened up a shop for the Soul Tribe. Link is in the description underneath. Soul Tribe merchandise. I know I'm not a huge YouTuber, millions of followers, but I've done it. But I see all these other guys doing merchandise, and it's for them blatantly. They just want to make money. Obviously, it'd be nice if I made £1 or 2 along the way. But I've done this for you guys, so you can feel part of something. It's all well and good tuning in every day to watch the channels, like myself, Wayne, Trina, Jenny, Jennifer Roberts, all the other guys. But to own that little bit of something makes you feel part of something sometimes. With my stuff, you could just have a badge, cost £4. mouse mats also. There's so many different things. So if you just like to take a little look around the shop, that'd be great. Got my Discord chat server as well. That's expanding all the time. So if anybody wants to join the Discord chat server, you can continue chatting about the subjects you've been chatting about in the chat rooms of the different channels. Wayne's got a chat server in there, Trina's got one, I've got one, Andromeda 7 has one. To anybody watching who has no idea who these channels are, I would suggest you go and take a look at them. If you like my channel, you'll certainly like their channels. So yeah, the link is in the description to join that chat server if you wish. There's a lot of stuff in there. It's not just chat. I've got the library in there, which is doing really, really well. It's got all my own personal PDF library in there. That's right at the top of the page. Then you've got lots of people who've joined the chat server have added their PDFs to there as well. There's a lot of really good information in there, as well as recipes and tarot card readings, all sorts of stuff going on in there. Also, I did leave a link to my email address in the descriptions. So if anybody has any questions regarding this book or anything and they want to ask me, I'll do my best to answer your questions, okay? Right in. I think we should get into the book now. Okay, so once again, this is the final chapter, chapter 10 of the 7th Ray, Revealer of the New Age. Chapter title is Effects of the Incoming 7th Ray. I'm only going to do about an hour on this one because Wayne Steiger will be starting then, I think. 6, 7, yeah. And I want to be there. Okay, so we'll do about an hour, see how far we get into it. My reading speed, not too fast. I apologise for the noise in the background as well. There's a lot of traffic around here and it's really, really hot for Wales today, hence the tank top. So I've got all my windows open. It's nice to hear the birds in the quiet time. Okie dokie, enough of me rambling. We were just finished one of the sections of the book, and as I previously stated, it's not like an A to B book really. It's just different quotations from different books that this person has written, all to do with the 7th Ray, all compiled together. Okay, so not really missing a huge amount. Well, you're missing most of the book, but it's not like you're not going to understand the story or anything like that. Okay, from where I'm carrying on. Okay, so carrying on from chapter 10, 7th Ray, Revealing New Age, Effects of the Incoming 7th Ray. The 5th principle of Manas is at this time beginning to demonstrate mainly through the 7th type of force, or the 5th when considered only the Brahma aspect of manifestation. It will be immediately apparent, therefore, that this incoming ray is peculiarly situated at this time, and that its influence will be manifested under very favourable conditions. It is pouring its force out upon the 7th plane, the physical, during the 5th root race and the 5th sub-race, and consequently the opportunity is great. In all that it has been said, anent the rays, it will be apparent that from the present standpoint, two are paramountly concerned with the evolution of man. The 4th ray of harmony, which is the dominant ray of the greater cycle, which includes the 4th round and globe, and the 7th ray of ceremonial magic, which is one of the foremost influences concerned in all objective manifestations. These two rays, or the force of these two planetary loci, are largely instrumental in bringing about coherency in our chain, the 4th or the 4th scheme, and on our physical globe, the Earth. The 4th and 7th interaction, one acting temporarily as a negative force and the other as a positive. Smoking and reading don't go well. Well, it's out loud anyway. Get rid of that. Hello, Madco. Great to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. Great day to you. Thank you for joining me. Do appreciate it. Oh, I've done it again. Shouldn't talk in between paragraphs. I lose my place. Right. The 5th Kumar, the Lord of the 7th Ray, for it is necessary to keep in mind his dual position as one of the points of the five-pointed star of Brahma, and as one of the triangles in the sevenfold Logi body, has a unique position as the ruler of the building devas. Of the physical plane, the devas of the ethers, in cooperation with their deva lord, he guides and directs the production of the form by means of certain occult works. He works, therefore, through the etheric body of all forms, and it is through his inflowing force that we may look for that increased stimulation of the matter of the etheric brain, which will make the physical brain receptive to the higher revealing truth, and will put into the hands of scientists the secrets of the fourth and third ethers. The development of the matter of the brain parallels the stage of development of its atomic correspondence, and in the visualization of the fifth spiral and the consequent reflex action of the seventh, we may look to see the mind of man assumes proportions and attain achievements as yet unthought and undreamt. Hi, Emperor Rex. Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. Do appreciate it. Great to see you. And Susie Q, here we are. Hi, Susie Q. Thank you very much for joining me. Hey, you have a great day outside, Susie. I hope it's not too hot where you are, lovely. It's really hot here. It must be nearly in the 30s, which is pretty much unheard of for Cardiff in South Wales. You're everywhere, mate, aren't you, Susie? I see you in all the chat rooms. Thank you, Susie. I hope my voice doesn't send you off to sleep, lovely. Have a good day outside, okay? Okay, just starting off on another section now. That was the end of that section. Quick sloop. I'll try and make it entertaining. With the coming in of this seventh ray of ceremonial magic, a tentative approximation of the two evolving groups, humanity and the Deva Kingdom editors, is to be somewhat permitted through not as yet with the involving group. Remember this statement: the Deva and human evolution will, during the next 500 years, become somewhat more conscious of each other and be able, therefore, more freely to cooperate. With this growing consciousness will be found a seeking after methods of communication. When the need of communication for constructive ends is sincerely felt, then under the judicious guidance of the masters will certain of the old mantrams be permitted circulation. Their action, interaction, and reaction will be closely studied and watched. It is hoped that the benefit to both groups will be mutual. The human evolution should give strength to the Deva, and the Deva joy to the human. Man should communicate to the Devas the objective point of view, while they in turn will pour in on him their healing magnetism. They are the custodians of prana, magnetism, and vitality, just as a man is the custodian of the fifth principle, or manas. I have given several hints here, and more is not possible. Funny, whenever I'm doing readings, I always get a really itchy back of the neck. It's the only time my back of my neck ever itches. I'm sure somebody's behind me watching me. Quite annoying. There is also a group of Devas connected with the Lodge of Masters, whose work is to build the aspirational forms towards which average man may aspire. They are divided into certain groups, 3 in number, connected with science, religion, and philosophy. And through these groups of Deva substance, the heads of 3 departments reach men. It is one of their channels for work. The Master Jesus is particularly active at this time along this line, working in collaboration with certain adepts on the scientific line, who, through the desired union of science and religion, seek to shatter the materialism of the West on the one hand, and on the other hand, the sentimental devotion of the many devotees of all faiths. This is made possible now through the passing out of the 6th ray and the coming of the 7th. We will consider now the etheric level of the physical plane, or the four highest subplanes of the physical plane. These etheric levels are but graduations of physical plane matter of a rare and more refined kind, but physical nevertheless. They are termed in most textbooks 1. The first ether, or atomic matter; 2. The second ether, or subatomic matter; 3. The third ether, or super etheric matter; and 4. The fourth ether, or simply etheric matter. The fourth ether is the only one as yet recognized by scientists and is the subject of their present investigations, little though they may realize it. On the atomic subplane are the permanent physical atoms of all humanity and the appropriated atoms of the Deva kingdom. The Devas do not develop as do the human race. They reincarnate in groups and not as individuals, though each group is comprised of units and has nothing of the nature of the involutionary group soul. The group soul on the involutionary path and that upon the evolutionary are unlike. One is passing on to the differentiation and is composed of entities animated by one general life. The other has differentiated, and each entity is a separate unit of the one life, complete in itself, yet one with the whole. There are many types of life to be contacted on the fourth etheric levels, but we can only concern ourselves at present with the Deva life, remembering that the Deva evolution is equally in importance to that of the human. These Devas are many in number and of involutionary and evolutionary nature, and of all grades and types. Ruling over them on the physical plane is the great Deva Kshiti. That can't be right. Kshiti? Kshiti. He is a Deva of rank and power equal to a Kahuna of a Ray. He presides over everything outside the human kingdom upon the physical plane, and he has his four council, the four subordinate Deva lords of the four etheric levels. He, with these subordinate Devas, presides over a subsidiary council of 7 Devas who handle all that concerns the Deva evolution and the work of the greater and lesser builders. The Deva ruler of the fourth or lowest ether has delegated a member of his council to meet with certain of the masters at this time for 2 specific purposes. First, to see whether the approximation of the 2 lines of evolution, human and Deva, might be now tentatively permitted, and secondly, to reveal some of the methods of healing and the causes of physical disability which are inherent in the etheric double. Devas of all kinds and colours are found on the physical etheric levels, but the prevalent hue is violet, hence the term so often employed, the Devas of the shadows. With the coming in of the ceremonial ray of violet, we have the amplification, therefore, of the violet vibration, always inherent on these levels, and the great opportunity, therefore, for contact between the 2 kingdoms. Stop there a second, put my finger where I left off. About 4 years ago, I don't know what it was, something in me told me to see my LED strips all around the room at the moment. I've got them on changing colour. I've had those for years, and something sort of told me that I needed to sleep under a violet light. So every night I sleep, I have these LED strips, not in this room, I've got LED strips in every room, on a violet or ultraviolet light. And I'm pretty sure that certainly had a big effect on the amount of gnosis and what have you I've been gaining since I've been doing that. and this is obviously the reason why. So anybody wants a little boost, as it were, go about your daily life with an ultraviolet or violet light on. Yeah. Have I missed anybody? Hi, Amy, Ben, Ezra. Very good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate you coming along. Thank you. Love and favour to you too. Thank you very much. You're not the first person to say that, Amy. I used to work in a call centre and I used to get a lot of compliments on my face. And I am Welsh. A lot of people think I'm English because of my accent, but I am Welsh. Yes, okay, so kingdoms. It is in the development of etheric vision, which is a capacity of the physical human eye, and not in clairvoyance, that this mutual apprehension will become possible. With the coming in, likewise, of this ray will arrive those who belong thereon. With a natural gift of seeing etherically, children will frequently be born who will see etherically as easily as the average human being sees physically. As conditions of harmony gradually evolve out of the present world chaos, divas and human beings will meet as friends. As the two planes, astral and physical, merge and blend, and continuity of consciousnesses is experienced upon the two, it will be difficult for human beings to differentiate at first between divas of the astral plane and those of the physical. At the beginning of this period of recognition, men will principally contact the violet divas, for those of the higher ranks amongst them are definitely making the attempt to contact the human. These divas of the shadows are of a dark purple on the fourth etheric level, of a lighter purple, much the same colour as violet on the third etheric level, and a light violet on the second, whilst the atomic subplane, they are of a glorious translucent lavender. Some of the groups of divas to be contacted on the physical plane are as follows. 4 groups of violet divas associated with the etheric doubles of all that exists on the physical plane. These 4 are in 2 divisions, those associated with the building of the etheric doubles and those out of whose substance these doubles are built. The green divas of the vegetable kingdom, these exist in 2 divisions also. They are of high development and will be contacted principally along the lines of magnetization. The greater divas of this order preside over the magnetic spots of the earth, guard the solitude of the forests, reserve intact spaces on the planet which are required to be kept inviolate. They defend them from molestation, and with the violet divas at this time working definitely through temporarily under the Lord Maitreya, the Raja Lord of the astral plane, Varuna, and his brother Kshiti have been, I do hope I'm saying that right, have been called to the council chambers of the hierarchy for specific consultation. And just as the masters are endeavoring to prepare humanity for service when the world teacher comes, so these Raja Lords are working along similar lines in connection with the divas. They're arduous in their work, intense in their zeal, but much obstructed by man. The white divas of the air and water, who preside over the atmosphere, work with certain aspects of electrical phenomena and control the seas, rivers, and streams. From among them, at a certain stage in their evolution, are gathered the guardian angels of the race. When in physical plane incarnation, each unit of the human family has his guardian diva. I'll stop there for a brief second. That makes perfect sense now. where it says there that the white divas of the air and the water, they preside over the aspects of electrical phenomena and control of the sea and the rivers. Now, it's quite an occult thing, but where did I learn it from? I learned it from ancient Egyptian manuscripts, and also there was a guy doing some work in, I can't remember when, it must be in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, somewhere around there, who actually discovered that water running along its natural course through a river where it winds like this, at certain points, you can actually get an electrical voltage, electrical charge from the river, it's from the water itself. It's only about 5 volts, it's only a small amount of electrical charge, but that can actually be harnessed and used. And basically the gentleman that discovered this ended up making water courses for loggers. That's how I discovered it in the more modern times. He discovered that if he made the channels certain shapes, that the logs would flow more freely, and then he did more scientific work behind that to discover the reason why that was, and it was because of the electrical charge in the water. So he discovered that if you make these water courses a certain sort of like meandering snake shape, a certain shape in the bends created an electrical charge. And that's most likely the reason why. Hey Al, good to see you, brother. Still haven't received my cards, Al. Don't know what's happening there. But I will definitely message you, Al, when I've received them, okay? Big Al in the house. And I will carry on. It's just my theory behind that bit anyway. Hi Delaney, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. Really good to see you. I bet we will all see each other in Wayne's chat soon as well. I will stop with enough time for everybody to go and get a cup of coffee or a drink or whatever before Wayne starts, okay guys? It's not going to be quite the full hour. I better shut up and get on with it. Right. Each group of divas has some specific method of development and some means whereby they evolve and attain a particular goal. For the violet divas, let's change this light. Talking about this, there we go. For the violet divas, the path of attainment lies through feeling and through educating the race in the and through educating the race in the perfecting of the physical body in its 2 departments. For the green divas, the path of service is seen in magnetization, of which the human race knows nothing as yet. Through this power, they act as the protectors of the vegetable plant life and of the sacred spots on the earth. In their work lies the safety of man's body, for from the vegetable kingdom, for the remainder of this round, comes the nourishment of that body. For the white divas, the path of service lies in the guarding of the individuals of the human family, in the care and segregation of types, in the control of the water and air elements, and much that concerns the fish kingdom. Thus, in the service of humanity, in some form or another, lies attainment for these physical plane divas. They have much to give and do for humanity, and in time it will be apparent to the human unit what he has to give towards the perfecting of the diva kingdom. A great hastening of their evolution goes forward now, coincident with that of the human family. Hi Deborah Slow, great to see you. Thank you very much for joining me now. Do appreciate you. It is possible at this time to foretell certain events which will come to pass during the next 100 years. First, in about 10 years' time, so that's 10 years from the 1950s, in 10 years' time, the first ether, with all that is composed of the matter, will be recognized scientific fact, and the scientists who work intuitionally will come to recognize the divas of that plane. People coming into incarnation on this 7th ray will have the eyes that see, and the purple divas and the lesser devas of the etheric body will be visioned by them. Groups will later be formed for specific purposes, which brings me to my third point, the use of the word for certain calculated ends. Let me enumerate for you some of the aims groups will have in view when they form themselves, and by the use of the sacred word coupled to the true occult meditation, achieve certain results. The time for this is not yet, and needs arise not for detailed description. Yet, if things progress as desired, even you may see it somewhat worked out in your lifetime. 7 groups that definitely work at making contact with the devas and collaborating with them under the law during the 7th ray activity. This will be much facilitated. Thank you, Deborah. Dangers from the Deva evolution. The second point is more complex. You will remember how it has been said earlier in these letters that contact with the devas can be brought about through specific forms of mantrams, and that in this contact lies the peril for the unwary. This danger is curiously real now, owing to the following reasons. A. The coming in of the violet ray, the 7th or ceremonial ray, has rendered this contact more easy of attainment than heretofore. Got to stop there a second because I've just had a realization. For about the last 3, 4, 5 years, whenever I see a rainbow in the sky, obviously in the sky, whenever I see one, I've been perceiving extra bands below the rainbow. There's been 4, and they've all been of a violet nature. Just realised with the 4 violet devas, must be something to do with the rainbow. Well, I've been perceiving those 4 different colours for years. I will definitely be doing more investigation into that. Now, where was I? I really got to keep my mark when I keep deviating. Attainment down there to 4. Right. It is therefore the ray on which approximation is possible, and in the use of ceremonial and of set forms, coupled to regulated rhythmic movement, will be found a meeting place for the 2 allied evolutions. In the use of ritual, this will be apparent, and physics are already bearing witness to the fact that both in the ritual of the church and in that of masonry, this has been evidenced. More and more will this be the case, and it carries with it certain risks that will inevitably work themselves into common knowledge, and thus affect in various ways the unwary sons of men. As you know, a definite effort is being made at this time by the planetary hierarchy to communicate to the devas their part in the scheme of things, and the part the human family must likewise play. Dyslexia is great. The work is slow and certain results are inevitable. It is not my purpose to take up with you in these letters the part that ritual and set mantric forms play in the evolution of devas and men. I only desire to point out that danger for human beings lies in the unwise use of forms for the calling of the devas. In experimenting with the sacred word with the objective in view of contacting the builders who are so largely affected by it, and in endeavouring to pry into the secrets of ritual and its adjusting adjuncts of colour and of sound, later on, when the pupil has passed the portal of initiation, such knowledge will be his, coupled with the necessary information that teaches him to work with the law in the following of the law, no danger lurks. The lower kingdoms of the devas work guided by the great building devas, and all move upwards in ordered beauty from plane to plane, from system to system, universe to universe. Therefore, in studying occult law, you need to remember two things. A, you control the elemental forces. B, you cooperate with the devas. In one, you dominate. In the other case, you endeavor to work with. You control through the activity aspect by the definite doing of certain things, by the preparation of certain ceremonies, for instance, through which certain forces can play. It is a replica on a tiny miniature scale of what the third logos did in world making. Certain activities had certain results. Later on, revelations can be made as to the rites and ceremonies through which you can get in touch with the various elementals and control them. The ceremonial ray, by coming into incarnation at this time, is making things much easier along this particular line. Fire elementals, water sprites, and the lower elementals can all be harnessed by rites. The rites are of three kinds. One, protective rites, which concern your own protection. Two, rites of appeal, which call and reveal the elementals. Three, rites that control and direct them when summoned. In working with the devas, you use the wisdom or love aspect, the second aspect of the logos. The building aspect, through love and longing, you reach them, and your first step, as you are on the path of evolution, as they are. It is to get in touch with them, for together you must work in the future for the guidance of the elemental forces and the helping of humanity. It is not safe for human beings, poor foolish things, to tamper with the forces of involution until they themselves are linked with the devas through purity of character and nobility of soul. Through rites and ceremonies you can sense the devas and reach them, but not in the same manner nor for the same reason that you can the elementals. The devas attend ceremonies freely and are not summoned. They come as you do to tap the power. When your vibrations are pure enough, the ceremonies serve as a common meeting ground. Oh yeah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Al. Sorry, love, I forgot to mention that. Everybody, it's Al's birthday, 62 today. Been around the sun 62 times. Enjoy another lap round the sun, Al. Have a good day, brother. I hope you're enjoying it. Dang it, we've done it again. Meeting ground. Okay. The devas of the physical plane, through though divided into the three groups A, B, C, are under another grouping spoken of as the devas of the seventh order. No problem, man. Cards in the post. The seventh order is peculiarly linked to the devas of the first order on the first plane. They are the reflectors of the mind of God, of which the first order is the expression and manifestation. It has worked through from the archetypal plane. The seventh order of devas is directly under the influence of the seventh ray, and the planetary logos of that ray works in close cooperation with the Raja Lord of the seventh plane. As the goal of evolution for the devas is the inner hearing, it will be apparent why mantric sounds and balanced modulations are the method of contacting them and of producing varying phenomena. This seventh order of devas is the one with which the workers of the left-hand path are concerned, working through the vampirism of the devitalization of their victims. Excuse me. They deal with the etheric bodies of their enemies and by means of sounds affect deva substance, thus producing the desired results. The white magician does not work on the physical plane with physical substance. He transfers his activities to a higher level and hence deals with the desires and motives. He works through the devas of the sixth order. Okay, that was the end of that section. A quick sip before I start the next one. Okay, so we've got now spiritualism. The rise of modern spiritualism is no doubt due to the seventh sub-ray influence of the sixth ray, and it may also be foreshadowing of the great seventh ray still to come. It is interesting to note that this movement was started by a secret society which has existed in the world since the last period of the seventh ray dominance in Atlantean times. I think I know who they are. Each of the great rays has a form of teaching, truth to humanity, which its unique contribution, and in this way develops man by a system of technique which is qualified by the ray quality and is therefore specific and unique. Let me point out to you the modes of this group teaching. Ray 7, higher expression, all forms of white magic. Lower expression, spiritualism or phenomena. It is through the correct development of spiritualism along psychological lines and the withdrawal of its emphasis upon phenomena, which is its outstanding characteristic and emphasizes today, that the true nature of death and of the hereafter will be revealed. But it is in connection with spiritualism that can best illustrate the lower expression of the incoming seventh ray influences. The work of the seventh ray is, as you know, the relating of life and of form. But when the emphasis is laid upon the form aspect, then the wrong procedure eventuates and the work of the black magician can begin, and his objectives come unduly into play. This is what has happened in the spiritualistic movement. Its investigators are occupied with the form side of life and its adherences with the satisfaction of their emotional desires, again related to the form side. So that the true import of the movement is in danger of being lost. Spiritualism, in its lowest and material aspect, is a low-grade expression of the seventh ray, and is, for the masses, definitely a line of least resistance, and, therefore, of no great spiritual importance to the evolutionary development. The masses of the people are today Atlantean in their consciousness and are only slowly emerging into the Aryan point of view. This must change and the mind activity be rapidly enhanced, or else true spiritualism will be unable to express itself. And through the present spiritualistic movement, there can be let loose upon the world forces and entities of a most undesirable character. The negativity of the majority of those who are interested in spiritualism and the entire negativity of the bulk of the mediums throws the door wide open to very definite dangers. Fortunately, there is a movement within the spiritualistic circles to right this obvious danger and to shift the present emphasis upon phenomena into the world of true values and right understanding. The subject is too vast a one for me to deal with here, except in illustration of the points which I am endeavouring to make. But one hint I will give. If the societies and organizations concerned with the spiritualistic movement and the physical research groups would seek for and find the natural sensitives and not the trance mediums, and those who are naturally clairaudient and clairvoyant and would study their disclosures, their words, their reactions, their modes of working, they would discover much about the sum of the natural and normal powers of man, powers which have been in abeyance during the period wherein mind development has been the objective, and which humanity shares with two great groups of lives, the members of the hierarchy and the animal kingdom. Ponder on this. If therefore these societies would concentrate on the intelligent and mental physics and rule out all trance conditions, it would not be long before revelation would come. The trance condition is undesirable, separates the medium from his soul, and definitely relegates him to the realm of the negative, of the uncontrolled and material forces. This development, however, the forces of materiality will prevent if possible, because the moment there is a positive, intelligent understanding of the world on the other side of the veil, there is no fear of death, and then the major aspect of their power and their hold upon humanity will disappear. If you have followed intelligently what I have said, 2 points will emerge with clarity in your minds in relation to the initial and immediate activity of these two rays. The sixth and seventh, first, that entire groups of people are increasingly susceptible to their influence, and this inevitably leads to these groups responsive to either the sixth or the seventh ray forces being in opposition to and antagonistic to each other. The problem is that owing to the developed sensitivity of the race, this antagonism is now upon a worldwide scale. Hence, much of the present conflict of ideas and the opposing ideologies, and hence also the feud between the old inherent traditions and the ancient forms of civilization, of government, of religion, on the one hand, and of the newer emerging ideas on the other. These new concepts should usher in the new age and will eventually revolutionize our modern life and standards. They will relegate the old ideas to the same position as the ideas which governed the race 1,000 years ago have today assumed in our consciousness. Second, the situation is still further complicated by the fact that both these rays influence and express themselves, as is ever the case, in a dual manner, and have always a lower and a higher form of manifestation, which is a correspondence in this connection to the personality and the egoic expression of every human being. In the case of the outgoing ray, the higher form, which is ever the first to manifest in germ, is rapidly disappearing or is being absorbed into the newer idealism, thus contributing all that is best to the new presentation of truth, so that the emerging culture will be properly rooted in the old. The lower forms are, however, tenacious and dominant, and because of this, they definitely constitute today the major problem of the hierarchy. So much so that they require the calling of the first ray, or the Shambhala force, in order to effect their destruction. Bear this in mind as you study the world situation. The lower forms of the seventh ray expression are still in an embryonic stage. This you can see clearly if you consider that one to which I choose to refer the spiritualistic movement, which began to take shape only during the last century and has achieved its curiously phenomenal growth. Only because it has started upon the American continent. The United States of America was the center for old Atlantis, and hence inherited a psychic and ancient religious form which was existent and potently alive in that part of the world for many centuries. In spite of these facts, the higher and more livening energy of the seventh ray is the most active at this time, and its resultant idealism and consequent New Age concepts are playing upon the sensitive minds of the race and preparing humanity for a great and much needed change. The work of the Ray of Ceremonial Order is to ground or make physical visible and the results of bringing spirit and matter together. Its function is to clothe spirit with matter, producing form. That's the end of that section. 20 minutes. Okay, I'll just finish this bit off and then we'll call it a day ready so everybody can go over and get yourselves ready to watch Wings. Okay, right. It is harder to differentiate between the higher and the lower expressions of the seventh ray of ceremonial order, for this ray is only in process of manifestation, and we know not as yet what its major expressions will be, either higher or lower. Human reactions have their place, and as I have earlier pointed out, even the masters themselves do not and cannot foretell what the results of the impacts of force may be, nor what may eventuate as a result, though they can frequently determine the probable happenings. If I say to you that the higher expression of the seventh ray is white magic, do you really understand what I mean? I question it. Have you any true idea of what is intended by these two words? I doubt it. White magic is realistically the power of the trained worker and executive to bring together into a constructive synthesis the within and the without, so that which is below may be recognizably patterned upon that which is above. It is the supreme task of bringing together in accordance with the immediate intention and plan and for the benefit of the evolving life in any particular world cycle. Number 1, spirit and matter. Number 2, life and form. 3, the ego and the personality. Number 4, the soul and its outer expression. Number 5, the higher worlds of Atma, Buddhi, manners, and the lower reflection of mind, emotion, and physical nature. 6, the head and the heart through the sublimation of the sacral and the solar plexus energies. Number 7, the etheric astral planes and the dense physical plane. And number 8, the intangible subjective levels of existence and the outer tangible worlds. Such is the task of the white magician, and as evolution proceeds and becomes more complicated and complex, it will nevertheless be more rapid and more accurately defined in the mind of the magician. All, therefore, that is conducive to human sensitivity and to increased awareness is the work of the white magician. All that tends to produce better forms through which the living principle of deity can express itself is the work of the white magician. All that serves to thin or tear away the veil between the worlds wherein those who have no physical bodies live and move and work, and the worlds of outer form is the work of the white magician. Of all this type of work, there is always much, but never more so than at this time, owing to the coming into manifestation of this ray of the magician, black and white. The seventh ray, hence the rapid growth of the senses, of omnipresence, and the recognition of the non-existence of time in relation to reality. This has taken place through the discovery and use of the radio and of the many means of communication through the steady growth of telepathic interplay. Hence, also the spread of the education enlarging man's horizon, and opening up of him new worlds for investigation and adventure. Hence also the breaking down of the old and limiting forms through the invoking force of the first ray, which has hitherto always worked through the medium of the seventh ray. Because the kingdoms in nature cannot yet stand pure first ray energy, hence also the keen interest in the life after death and the appearance of all the many groups which are today investigating the nature of survival and the probability of immortality, hence again the appearance of the modern spiritualistic movement. This is a direct effect of the coming into manifestation of the seventh ray. Spiritualism was the religion of old Atlantis, and the seventh ray dominated that ancient civilization for a very long period of time, particularly during the first half of its existence, just as the fifth ray is of such dominant potency in our Aryan age and race. Hey Chloe, great to see you. Good timing, I'm just finished. So I hope you enjoyed your sleep, lovely. It's really good to see you, Chloe, thank you. That was the end of that section. So make a little mark so I don't lose my place for next time. There we go. Right, so next time we will be carrying on future unfoldment, the fusion of spirit and matter. And we're about halfway through the last chapter, chapter 10 now. Hopefully next time we get on, I'll just do one big one and we can finish it, because I've got other books I want to get on reading, and this was taking flipping ages for some reason for such a small book. Like, it doesn't want me to read it. To be honest, on that one, it seems that every time I'm reading a section, I've had an epiphany to do with the section I'm currently reading the day or two before it. So I think I'm being guided still as to when to read these chapters to you. Little thought. I know there's only 7 of you in here now. If anybody has any books you would like to see me read, by all means, drop a comment in the comments of the book. And if I haven't got it, I'll get it, and I'll add that to the list of books that I will read to you. Thinking possibly doing the Gospel of Thomas next. So I do like that one. And possibly doing my version of a little breakdown of what each the sections I can figure out mean. I'll also be doing the, what's the book called? As soon as I can find a PDF version. If I can find a PDF version, I'll do it so you can all see the pages on screen. The 7 Lights, I think it's called. I forgot what it's called now. It's along the same vein anyway. It's the 7 Lights coming in. Very good book. I started reading it. I think Trina may have started doing it as well. I don't want to take any light off Trina if she has started doing it, but I'll read it in kind of a different way. I'll be breaking it down as I'm going as well. Yes, there's a lot of truth in this one, Deborah. You got that right. If you got the eyes to see, ears to hear, you've done your studying, there is a heck of a lot of truth in it. I'm guessing is why it was actually written. It's the time now, the apocalypse meaning revealing of information, that these wisdoms need to come out for the people to understand. Right, what are we doing? It's 10:02. Right, I'll jump off now, guys. I'll see you. Yeah, I'll see all of you, I guess, in Wayne's chat in about 10 minutes. Okay. So, love to you all. I appreciate every single one of you. And I genuinely do mean it whenever you see me in chat saying I love every one of you. Love you all the same. Don't forget the Soul Tribe merchandise in the shop below. Leave any questions you have. Well, if you have any questions, either email me. My address is down below. And he said downstairs then. I don't even go downstairs. I live in a flat. Yeah, any questions, email them to me or leave them in the chat in the comments. Same with any books you would like to see me read. Just drop me a line and have a lovely day. I love you all. Be the frequency that you want to receive. I haven't just pinched that from Brian. I genuinely believe it. Because at the end of the day, we are all the same. We are literally all the same. So if you want to be treated like shit, treat somebody else like shit, and don't be surprised when you get treated like shit. I personally prefer to treat everybody that I love, because I do love everybody. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. You'll go get a cuppa, and I'll see you all in Wayne. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for coming as well at short notice. Bye.